won by Caldwell. The Blues have had an excellent record in the FA Cup in the last 3 seasons. Quarter-finalists in 09-10 and 10-11. Barnsley in the Championship the weekend. Minority. Cadiz to Ravel Morrison. Morrison tries to find space for a shot, but it's just crowded out and plays. And Morrison, once again, patient. Dealt with by Lees. Morrison wins the ball. Skips away from Byram. Gets the return pass from King as well, and the ball back. Now Morrison. Sends King a little bit too to shoot for a moment, but instead lays it into the path of unconvincing clearance once again from Jack Butland, and Morrison has to help him out here and goes all the nice turn from the Serbian to find Morrison. Morrison tries to find space for the shot, and he very nearly. Morrison. Nice back heel. Maybe Blues have another chance here. Good ball from Fahy to find Redmond. Clever play once again from Nathan Redmond, and Morrison's shot! Beaten away by Still with Friend. Blocked by Morrison. Morrison just trying to shield the ball away and does accept Thomas. Now Morrison. Ravel Morrison trying to find space for the shot! And it's... He's refereed most of his games. But they lose 3-0 down, as they were against Wolves last weekend, halted by Lowry. Morrison. With him. Now Morrison. Morrison goes the long way round, but spots the run of Hancock's. A major talking point. Here's Ravel Morrison. Can they get an early goal here? Morrison creates space for himself. Morrison's shot saved by David Ford. Woods can head it clear. Morrison's flick. Redmond on to Morrison. Lovely little dink into the path of Thomas, who swivels and finds the net. So many problems to the Millwall backline, and he finally finds a way past David Ford. Blues take the lead again. Headed on by Thomas. This is Morrison. Who's cynically tripped by Shit. And they restore their authority now with Ravel Morrison. It's a good run from Morrison. Morrison wants a corner. It won't.
Here's Ravel Morrison. He needs to play it in. Zigic to get up. And Schmeichel needs to be on it. Moment again. Morrison. Played extremely well that day, beginning of December. Ravel Morrison into one added back line, which maybe does explain why they haven't been quite as rock solid as they were last year. Good feet from Ferguson. Creation out there. Here's one of those, Ravel Morrison. Konchesky reading that situation. Morrison. Cadiz into Redmond. Ravel Morrison. Can't get away from King. Cadiz. Well, that's nicely done, Cadiz. And Zigic can move it quickly. There's a little give and go. Just holds on well, beautifully slid in there, and they just don't. Has happened. Attempt by Schlupp again. That's what they say about substitutes coming cold into the game. Maybe it takes a bit of time. Not in Lloyd Dyer's. Ravel Morrison. Oh, beautiful footwork. Oh. Just whistling out Redmond. Talk about this man in the same vein. Quick feet, great ability. As soon as he started heading back the way, you knew there was trouble. Yeah. Schlupp.
which is more than Blues have managed at St Andrews. It's their away form that's really let them down. Just 3 wins, 3 draws. Caddy spots the run of Morrison. Great first touch from Morrison to get away from Cunningham. There goes Ravel Morrison. He's got Shane Ferguson to his left. This is Ferguson. And here's Ravel Morrison. Has Stigic to his left and now down the middle. Redmond to his left as well, and Morrison goes for strong challenge from Robinson to get the ball back for Blues. And here's Ravel Morrison now. Oh, Stigic is in! Curtis Davis wins the header. Now Morrison spots the run of Chris Burke. Maybe there is time. Morrison. Challenge from Kim, but the ball finds its way to Hall. He gives it back to Morrison. Here's Ravel Morrison. Now Elliott! Urging run from the on-loan West Ham man. And here's another player on loan from West Ham. Ravel Morrison. Redmond. Callum Riley. He releases Ravel Morrison. Morrison. Robinson makes the run ahead of him. Instead, Morrison chooses to exchange passes with Wade Elliott and then gets the ball back from Rob Hall too. It's Hancock's in support. And Morrison. Morrison looks for option. Jervis helps it on. This is Ravel Morrison. Left-hand side. It's more favoured position on quite a few occasions this afternoon. Ravel Morrison drifts away from Cowie and is crossed to the back post, fired by Riley. Bulgaro Gomes. Now Morrison. This. Morrison again. It's a good ball from Morris. Headed away. Morrison picks it up though. And Gomes. Seen plenty of the ball in these early exchanges. And Riley. Caldwell finds Ravel Morrison. And Morrison gets it back from Burke. Morrison. Well, spots the run of King. Now Morrison. Elliott continues his run. Morrison just drops deep and covers for the moment and gets the ball back from Robinson. Morrison can't get away from Coots. There's Hendrick, dispossessed by Ravel Morrison. Morrison, ball under control. Morrison again. A spot for Morrison to pick out Thomas. He's up against Keogh. It's Wes Thomas for Blues. Equaliser.
Will of course try and do is take advantage of that slip. Just the one defeat to Watford way back in August. Here's Ravel Morrison, a player who, on his day, continuity, the other important word that Lee Clark used. There are some big names out injured. Marlon King, captain Steve Carr. Or Ravel Morrison has found himself free, and the brilliance of Julian Speroni denies it. Curtis Davis stretching. Ferguson. Hancock's arriving. Oh, and it's a third. It's Ravel Morrison, and it's surely out of Palace's run
from Hancock's around the outside of Ferguson, and he pulls the ball back into a wonderful area, back towards the penalty spot. Still an awful lot of work for the arriving Ravel Morrison to do, but how...
Bring a couple of changes, Aaron Wilbraham there and Andre Moritz. Oh, Morrison clipped as he let fly.
By Doherty as well. Caddis with the throw. Morrison. It's past one. Morrison. That's a foul. Another quarter of an hour or so played. Birmingham might be making the changes. Morrison. Wolves scrambling it clear. Overhead kick off the post. Morrison with the opportunity. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is. Which has led to an opportunity for the home team to find Doyle. Able to get away from Cadiz. Hunt. Hancock's. Morrison. Away by Johnson. Morrison has to go all the way back.
Start of the season is away. It finds Ravel Morrison. Laid off by Zigic to Ravel Morrison. It's still Morrison. Morrison! Oh, it's so unlucky. So well to keep the ball and twist away from these who committed himself like glue. Morrison. Cadiz has made a darting run into the area. Now Morrison, always at the heart of most of the attack. Had the better chances. Morrison onto his left foot this time. Oh! Another wonderful effort from Ravel Morrison. His first was all about technical ability as he tried to chip Kenny. That one was all, and got his body behind the shot. Back to Morrison. Now Zigic could play again between Zigic and Ravel Morrison. Maybe he can cap a fine display with a goal. Superb talent. Ravel Morrison is emerging in the points that Blues have picked up in the last 3 games. Morrison. Well, just tried to by Zigic. This is Ravel Morrison. Maybe an opportunity for Blues to hit back straight away here. It's still Morrison. Tries to find space. It was a good challenge from Chambers. Morrison. Cadiz. Cadiz's ball. Morrison's there, and Zigic is in the back post. The offside flag. Morrison with a mazy run. This time he picks out Nathan Redmond, who's onside. It's pulled back down. Morrison certainly been better. Morrison, one for Nathan Redmond to chase. Away, and Blues can break away here. Morrison. Seen plenty of the ball, but not really done too much with it this afternoon. Morrison. Interception once again from Redmond, and here's Ravel Morrison. Maybe there's time for another one. Laid off to Morrison. It's beaten away, but Graham Salisbury wants Blues to take this again. So it's the same two. Ferguson to Morrison. Now Ravel Morrison, quiet so far in this game. That's an excellent ball to pick out Ferguson. It's come to Morrison. Shot charged down by David Jones. Still Ravel Morrison. Can he still make something of this? If he can keep a clean sheet this afternoon. Can Blues get the goals cut out easily by Paul Robinson? It's a Zigic. Morrison. Excellent ball to spot Morrison, who turns and finds Nathan Redmond. Gomez. Now Morrison. Ravel Morrison just trying to find space! Morrison, who perhaps guilty of taking too many touches and not making the occasions. That time he certainly did. Support now from Morrison. Zigic, who tries to find Morrison. Now Elliott. Trying to make... Andy D'Urso waves play on. And the balls that Huddersfield are going to launch into the penalty area in the next few minutes. Ravel Morrison will make way.